Welcome to Magical English Stories. Today, we begin a new adventure with Max. Max was a small gray cat with bright, curious eyes. He lived in a cozy little house near a big park. Every morning, Max dreamed about amazing journeys. Please like and subscribe to join him on his adventure. One quiet morning, Max heard a soft sound at the door. His ears twitched with excitement. On the ground lay a shiny golden envelope. The envelope had Max's name written in sparkling letters. Max carefully opened it with his paws. Inside, he found a glowing map. The map showed a path leading into Wonder Woods. Strange drawings decorated its edges. Max's heart beat faster with excitement. He studied the glowing lines on the paper. A red trail stretched deep into the forest. Max whispered, "I must follow this." Max packed a small bag with cookies and water. He tied his blue scarf around his neck. With a happy meow, he stepped outside. The morning sun lit up the quiet street. Birds chirped cheerfully in the trees. Max felt brave as he walked toward the forest. At the edge of the woods, Max stopped for a moment. The tall trees looked dark and mysterious. Still, his curiosity pushed him forward. The forest smelled fresh and earthy. Leaves rustled gently above his head. Max's paws pressed softly against the mossy ground. Suddenly, a squirrel darted across the path. It carried a giant acorn in its mouth. Max giggled at the funny sight. The squirrel paused and looked at Max. "Are you going to Wonder Woods?" it asked. Max nodded and held up the glowing map. "Follow the red line," said the squirrel. "It will take you to something magical." Max thanked the squirrel and kept walking. Deeper in the woods, the trees grew taller. Shadows stretched across the ground. Max felt both nervous and excited. He heard the sound of water splashing. Following the noise, he reached a clear river. The water sparkled like tiny diamonds. On the riverbank sat a wise old turtle. The turtle smiled kindly at Max. "Travel carefully, young one," it said. Max showed the turtle his glowing map. The turtle touched the paper gently. "It will guide you, but only if you are brave." Max bowed politely and thanked the turtle. He hopped across the stones in the river. Cool water splashed around his paws. Beyond the river, the forest grew quiet. Only the sound of his footsteps remained. Max wondered what lay ahead. Bright butterflies suddenly filled the air. Their wings shimmered in the sunlight. Max laughed as they danced playfully around him. The butterflies led Max to a hidden meadow. Flowers of every color swayed gently in the breeze. Max's eyes shone with wonder. In the meadow, rabbits hopped happily. They invited Max to play. He joined their game and laughed with joy. When the game ended, the rabbits pointed to a hill. "Climb up, and you'll see the way forward," they said. Max thanked them and continued. The hill was steep but covered in soft grass. Max climbed carefully, step by step. At the top, he saw the whole forest spread below. The red line on the map glowed brighter. It seemed to shine directly toward a faraway tree. Max knew that was his destination. The sun moved higher in the sky. Warm light filtered through the branches. Max felt strong and hopeful. He met a pair of bluebirds along the way. They sang a cheerful tune. Max smiled and hummed with them. Soon Max found a wooden bridge. It creaked as he stepped onto it. Below, a rushing stream sparkled. Halfway across, The wind blew hard. Max held tightly to the rail. His scarf flapped wildly behind him. When he reached the other side, Max sighed with relief. He looked back at the bridge proudly. "I did it," he whispered. The forest grew darker ahead of him. Strange shapes moved in the shadows. Max's heart pounded, but he kept walking. Glowing mushrooms lit up the path. They shone in blue and green colors. Max stepped carefully among them. A soft voice echoed from the trees. "Do not be afraid, little traveler." Max's ears twitched as he listened. From the darkness, an owl appeared. Its golden eyes glowed in the night. "Follow the stars," the owl advised. Max looked up at the sky. Stars twinkled between the branches. He followed their gentle light forward. Soon he reached a clearing filled with fireflies. They circled around him like tiny lanterns. Max laughed and chased them happily. The fireflies led him to a secret path. It was narrow but clear. Max felt grateful for their help. Night slowly covered the forest. The air grew cooler. Max pulled his scarf tighter. He built a small bed of leaves. Curling up, he rested his paws. Stars watched over him as he slept. In his dreams, the map glowed brightly. The red line shimmered like fire. Max felt the journey calling him. At dawn, birds sang sweetly. Max stretched and yawned. The adventure continued with the rising sun. He followed the red line deeper into the woods. Tall ferns brushed against his whiskers. The air smelled fresh and green. Suddenly, Max heard laughter. Curious, he followed the sound. A family of deer stood nearby. The deer shared berries with Max. Their kindness warmed his heart. He thanked them politely before moving on. The map glowed again, showing a hidden cave. Max felt nervous but stepped inside. Shadows danced along the walls. Inside the cave, crystals sparkled. Colors bounced across the stone. Max's eyes widened with wonder. In the center stood a crystal fountain. Water bubbled softly from it. The sound was calm and soothing. Max dipped his paw into the fountain. The water felt cool and magical. His courage grew stronger. Leaving the cave, Max felt renewed. Sunlight welcomed him back outside. The map glowed brighter than before. He climbed another hill. The wind whispered across the grass. Max pushed forward with determination. At the top, he spotted a group of foxes. They were playing with shiny stones. Max waved his paw in greeting. One fox handed Max a small pebble. "For luck," the fox said. Max smiled and placed it in his bag. The path ahead was narrow and twisted. Roots curled across the ground. Max stepped carefully to avoid stumbling. A gentle rain began to fall. Drops sparkled on the leaves around him. Max lifted his face and felt refreshed. He found shelter under a large oak tree. Birds huddled close together above. Max waited patiently for the rain to stop. When the clouds cleared, a rainbow appeared. It stretched high across the sky. Max purred at the beautiful sight. The rainbow seemed to point toward the glowing red line. Max followed it eagerly. His paws moved quickly over the wet ground. Soon, he came to a meadow of tall grass. The blades swayed gently in the breeze. Max leapt playfully through them. In the middle of the meadow stood a tall stone pillar. Strange symbols were carved into its surface. Max traced them with his paw curiously. The pillar hummed softly and glowed. A beam of light pointed toward the distant trees. Max knew he had to follow it. As Max entered the trees again, the air grew still. He felt as if the forest was watching him. His tail twitched with curiosity. A gentle rustling came from the bush. Out popped a hedgehog carrying a tiny lantern. The hedgehog offered to guide Max. Together they walked along the glowing path. The lantern cast warm circles of light. Max purred softly, feeling safe. After a while, the hedgehog stopped. "This is where I must turn back," it said. Max thanked the little guide with a smile. The forest floor began to slope downward. Rocks jutted out of the ground like teeth. Max stepped carefully to keep his balance. At the bottom of the slope was a wide pond. Frogs croaked cheerfully from the edges. Max crouched down to drink. Suddenly, a fish leapt from the water. It shimmered with golden scales. Max gasped at its beauty. The fish splashed back into the pond. Ripples spread across the surface. Max watched until the water grew still again. He continued along the path beside the pond. Fireflies lit the way like tiny lamps. Max's paws made soft prints in the damp soil. Beyond the pond, the trees grew thin. A wide valley opened before him. Max could see mountains in the distance. The wind whistled through the valley. It carried the scent of pine and flowers. Max breathed deeply and felt alive. As he walked, he found a circle of stones. In the center burned a gentle fire. No one was there, but the flames danced calmly. Max warmed his paws by the fire. He felt strength returning to his body. The glow made him feel brave. When the fire dimmed, the map glowed again. The red line pointed toward the mountains. Max tightened his scarf and pressed on. The ground turned rocky and uneven. Pebbles rolled beneath his paws. Max steadied himself with each careful step. He came across a fox den. The kids peeked out curiously at him. Their mother nodded in greeting. The fox family shared a small piece of bread. Max accepted it gratefully. The kindness filled his heart with warmth. Climbing higher, Max felt the chill of night. Stars lit the sky in silver patterns. His breath formed little clouds in the air. He reached a rocky ledge. Below, the forest spread like a dark sea. Max gazed at the endless view in awe. Suddenly, a shooting star streaked across the sky. Max made a wish in silence. His eyes sparkled with hope. The red line on the map shimmered brighter. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Max knew he was on the right path. As he walked further, he heard a soft humming. It came from a circle of glowing flowers. The petals swayed though there was no wind. Max stepped closer to the flowers. Their light wrapped around him gently. He felt courage filling his chest. From the flowers, a breeze carried music. It sounded like tiny bells ringing. Max's ears twitched happily. The music guided him to another hill. On the top stood a lonely oak tree. Its branches pointed like arms toward the sky. An owl sat high in the tree. It called down softly, "Keep going, little traveler." Max waved his paw in thanks. The path behind the oak was narrow. Rocks lined each side like walls. Max squeezed through carefully. On the other side was a peaceful meadow. The grass glowed faintly in the moonlight. Max lay down to rest for a moment. He gazed at the sky above. Stars seemed closer here, shining brightly. Max purred softly as he closed his eyes. When he opened them again, the map was glowing. The red line stretched farther, calling him forward. Max stood tall, ready for the next step. The forest grew quiet as Max walked on. Even the wind seemed to pause. He felt something important was close. Ahead, a tall tree shone with silver leaves. Its trunk glowed softly like moonlight. Max's paws carried him quickly toward it. At the base of the tree lay strange carvings. Symbols matched those on his map. Max traced them gently with his paw. Suddenly, the tree whispered in a gentle voice, "Welcome, traveler. Your journey has only begun." Max's eyes widened with wonder. A hidden door opened in the tree trunk. Inside, a golden light shimmered. Max stepped closer, his whiskers trembling. On the wall inside hung a silver ticket. Words glowed across it. "Tomorrow at sunrise, the sky balloon will wait." Max gasped with excitement. He clutched the ticket tightly. His heart raced with hope for the next adventure. The air sparkled around him with magic. Thank you for watching Max's first adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Join us in episode 2, where the story continues in the sky.